take up space. Like that's the whole, I guess, purpose around the doula work that we do. Because it's not just about the service you receive, it's also about being a resource to the community.
Okay, cool. Hi, guys. Welcome. Today I have a guest. I'm going to let her introduce herself, but before you do that, I do like a speed round, ask you questions. First thing that comes to your mind, just go.
Okay.
Okay, cool. The first question, coffee or tea?
Tea.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
I can see that, actually. Favorite birth comfort tool? Birthing ball, massage, affirmations? Definitely not
Rebozo.
visualization. Which one?
The Rebozo, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Flashback. Sorry, it's supposed to be fast. Sorry, guys. Favorite snack to bring to a birth?
Oh, that's tough. Honestly, whatever I can get at Tim Hortons. Like, yeah, not picky. Usually a really sweet, sugary donut because I know I'm not supposed to be eating it. But yeah, nothing healthy, which is terrible.
Yeah, fair. Okay. First thing you do after birth?
I come home, I dump all my stuff, I take a shower, hydrate. If it's at the beginning of the day, then I kind of just slug through the day and then, yeah, hopefully drift off at some point.
Do you prefer like morning births or night births?
That's a good question. Morning for sure, because if it takes longer, then like I'm still up during kind of like my regular sleep cycle or wake cycle.
Yeah. Okay.
But a lot of overnight births are like really beautiful and tend to like move a bit quicker, I find.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I'm thinking about mine now and I'm just like, that's not good there. You guys know the story I shared this before. Okay, so we're talking about births, obviously, and this is Jessica.
Hey.
Jessica's my doula. I'm so excited to have this conversation because I find like a lot of people when I share my birth story are either like, why did you need a doula?
Fair.
Like, why are you doing the most? Or people are like, oh my God, I totally recommend. So can you maybe tell people a little bit about yourself and why you got into this doula space in the first place?
Sure. So I'll try and keep this brief because I feel like I can go on and on and on about this. Yeah, so really, I think it came from a place of personal interest in like learning more about my fertility. I have PCOS, and having a better understanding of what pregnancy is like, how people come to be when it comes to conceiving, and what postpartum looks like. I think we've all watched the movies and birth seems to happen within like 2 minutes on screen.
Okay.
And so just wanted to learn more so that when I was starting to plan to have kids, that I'd be going in with information opposed to going blind.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's, I think, like...
So why a doula? Because I mean, I think there are different support people during birth. So why doula?
Yeah. So fun fact, actually, when I was applying for university, I had applied for a midwifery program at the time, which I totally forgot about. My best friend reminded me when I actually became a doula. So I guess I've always had this fascination around birth or just like early parenting experiences. And so when I finally came back to this place of wanting to support people in birth or early parenting, I was old enough, like I still in my 20s, but had already finished my degree, and the idea of going back and starting another one to become a midwife just wasn't feasible at the time. But also this life of being on call, and yes, I'm on call as a doula, but it's that flexibility to like carry a heavier caseload versus not, and doing work outside of just birth and postpartum. I could do education as well. So at the time, it was what made sense. Very happy with my choice. I think if I was a midwife, it would just be a different lifestyle. And I like the way my lifestyle is now.
If people wanted to have a doula, could they have a doula if they had an OB? Or can they only have a doula when they have a midwife?
Yeah, so you can have a doula with an OB or a midwife. I think they complement both experiences well. I would say in terms of like birth preferences or options, you have a wider range in terms of where you can deliver with a midwife, which is nice. Doulas, the workflow model often mimics the midwifery model as well. So we're spending a lot of time prenatally with folks, answering those questions. We're there with you throughout the duration of your birth, and then we'll follow you, at least within the collective, we'll follow you for 6 weeks postpartum, which aligns with the midwifery model. If you're working with an OB, it's nice because OB visits aren't as long and the relationship isn't as in depth as it would be with a midwife. So it's nice to have someone else walking alongside you throughout this like pregnancy, labor, delivery experience, and early postpartum, who you've had this relationship that you've built and this continuity of care, so that they can, especially in a birth setting, to be able to like advocate for you if needed, because you have a good idea of what your client is wanting.
Right. So there are people who coming from different cultures, right? And for me, this is part of the reason why I wanted a doula, because I don't leave around my family, right? Is that there's a certain level of support that comes with having a doula that some people would be getting in their cultures through their families or their friends or that kind of thing. What would you say to someone who maybe is an immigrant to a new country, who doesn't necessarily know that much about doulas, but understands the concept of like providing support? What, I guess, advice would you give someone like that if they were interested in, getting a doula?
Yeah, so I feel like the bigger answer to that question is the doula is in addition to that support that you may have had if you were around family and friends. And so a doula is just in addition to your new support network, or that chosen family that you're choosing to have here in Canada or wherever else that you're giving birth. So our relationship isn't as long as it would be if you had friends or family members around, but it's still a good in between. And really, I think the bulk of the support that we do really is around like emotional and informational support. And so, yeah, we've got all these tools, but really it's just having that companion. It's more of like a companionship. It really is relationally based, to kind of walk you through or walk alongside you rather in this journey of becoming a parent.
Yeah. So say someone wants a doula and they reach out to you, like what is the process?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it depends on how you reach out to me. I love phone conversations. I am like what I like to call myself a geriatric millennial now. So I still love phone calls. Like when people reach out to me via text, if I have the time, I usually just call them back right away. I like phone conversations in that it's a little bit more fluid. I can ask questions and it's not a bunch of emails or texts back and forth. So that's probably the best way to get in contact with me if you wanted kind of like a quicker response and to be able to have that initial conversation. Email also works. Email is, I feel like, a little bit drier because I usually send like an automated response of like, this is what we offer and like, hopefully this works for you. So it really just depends on, I guess, also the urgency, because like sometimes people will reach out like 3 weeks before and I'm like, great, like let's hop on the phone. If it works, then like let's make it work. But yeah, like for tracking for purposes for myself, an email would be best. And then you'd get a phone call. I'd respond to your email. I'd set up a phone call or a video call. Typically, I like to do that with partners as well if they're available. And then we would just go over the services once I get an idea of what it is that you're hoping to get from doula care. Because sometimes doula care isn't, for everyone, or maybe postpartum versus birth. Just getting a better picture of what you're hoping your experience will look like. And then you get an email response basically detailing the services that we offer along with like a service agreement. And then from there, it would be prenatal visits, attendance at birth, and then some postpartum stuff. I think the biggest thing around like the doula care that we offer is that like we have a lot more time to spend with clients, which is nice. And so I find that often like throws people off because they're like, oh, I feel like I'm using too much of your time. And I'm like, please take up space. Like the whole purpose of this relationship is for you to take up space and to ask those questions. So I think that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. And I guess from that, I have 2 other questions.
Okay.
So ideally, right, when should people be thinking about reaching out to a doula?
Yeah, again, a tough question. So I had a client that I supported earlier this year, and she was going through some fertility stuff, and she had reached out to me actually late last year. And she's like, I'm in the process, not sure when I'm going to get married, when I'm going to have a baby. But I wanted to start like just having a conversation with you now to get a feel for who you are, get a feel for how you do doula work, meet some of the other team members as well. Ideally, I would say people are reaching out in second trimester. anywhere between second trimester up to 37 weeks, ideally.
Okay.
37 weeks is cutting it close. But yeah, second trimester. Or if, like people like myself who are experiencing fertility issues or have experienced losses, I would reach out sooner rather than later, even if if you're having one of those experiences. Because again, that relationship piece comes in.
Yeah.
Like it's better
true.
for me to know those things beforehand, have a conversation. Like the conversations are free, people. So like,
Yeah.
again, take up space. Like that's the whole, I guess, purpose around the doula work that we do. Because it's not just about the service you receive. It's also about being a resource to the community.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's so important. I think sometimes like with births and birthing and fertility, sometimes it can feel very isolating.
Yeah.
Especially like for some people, I can speak for myself. Like I remember when I had a miscarriage and like just thinking through like, who are all the people who are in your community? People want to be there for you.
Yeah.
And I think for me, this is the part that I was just like, now that in retrospect, I'm like, maybe a doula would have been helpful then. It's like, you're also like babying other people's emotions around you.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just want a space to not have to do that when it comes to family and friends, and then there's this whole other person who can provide that resource for you, right?
Yeah, who's like aware enough of like the types of experiences that people have, and you can develop that relationship with. Again, like honestly, I'm only as effective as I am based on the relationship that we have. True. Right? True. And so just someone to hold space for you, like church, there are counselors out there who are specialized in perinatal experiences, but sometimes you don't need counseling per se. You just need someone to like hear you and like hold that space and, maybe provide you with some resources of, okay, maybe this might be a place that you want to reach out to the next time, if you have this experience.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing to note is that we also support people through losses as well. So it's not just birth and postpartum. We've worked with people who have miscarried. We've worked with people who have chosen to terminate. Doula care, full spectrum doula care at least, is like the entire reproductive experience. And it really reflects in how we do our work. And that's why when people are like, well, when's the best time to reach out? Well, it really depends on where you are in your reproductive experience. There's no good time or bad time.
Right.
The right time is when you're ready.
Okay. So then what if there are people, because I know there's probably someone who's like, okay, cool, this sounds great, but I don't have all this money and I it's giving like doula care is expensive.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that? Do you get that at all?
So I should probably say that I run a nonprofit as well, just to kind of give context to answering this question. And so the way our model works is we are partially funded through a grant, but we also do a sliding scale fee. And so we work we have specific referral sources that we know for sure those clients just can't access our services through financial means. And people who fall outside of that demographic or threshold, we offer a sliding scale fee model. And like our goal is to ideally not turn anyone away. So even if you're presented with a sliding scale fee model, still reach out. Like we will work with you. Again, like it's really about serving community. It's about being a resource. It's about making sure that people are feeling wrapped in care as they're going through this like reproductive experience. So we can work with almost anyone, to be honest, in terms of what they can afford or not afford. So prior to starting this nonprofit, I was a private practice doula. As you know, that's how you met me.
Yeah.
And that was like probably my biggest pain point, was having to turn people away because they couldn't afford my fees at the time. And so now that I don't have that restriction, it feels really good. So it's like, just reach out and we'll work with you.
Yeah. So can you tell the people a little bit about this collective, how it came about, who all is involved?
Yeah. So we're called the Rooted Birthwork Collective. So this is birthed out of a passion project of mine, again, in response to filling that gap in care for folks who couldn't afford. And so we ran a 3-year pilot project in collaboration with Black Ottawa Connect. And so that was nice. And we had received some funding to do that, kind of on a smaller scale. And once the funding ended, we received some additional funding, and I was able to start this what I call the Root of Birthwork Collective now. We're a team of 3. Well, I should say 4. I feel like one person is a doula she's full-time employed and keeps telling me she's going to retire and still hasn't. So if she ever watches this, she knows who she is. But she's a nurse. She's as well, and she's worked in community. So she is kind of like what I like to call our OG doula. She's been in community in so many different settings. So yeah, there's 3 of us. So you get to interact with the entire team, which is nice. You can make a selection or a preference for who you'd like to be your primary doula. We do have the flexibility to do that. But I think what I've seen through this more shared care model is that we all bring different experiences, different knowledge outside of just like our basic doula training. And so it's nice to get those perspectives. And the reality is, like, not everyone's going to vibe with me, and that's okay. Yeah. So it's like, it's nice to have another option because this work is so personal for us and this experience is so personal for the individual that we want to make sure that we're a good fit or that they're receiving care in a way that feels good to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just touched on something that I did want to talk about is how do people know, like, how to pick a doula? Like, how do you know a doula that's going to be a good fit for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm actually going to turn that question back on you because I've never actually accessed doula care. I make a lot of assumptions about what people need. And I am who I am and I show up as I am always. So it's either you kind of like me or you don't, and that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, tell me your assumptions and I'll tell you kind of like what I was,
Yeah, I think it really comes down to like a gut instinct or like an emotional response of like, I feel like you understand me, I feel heard, I feel seen, I feel validated. And I also feel like you have the knowledge and the skills to support me in the way that I would like to receive support. I think, at least for me, if I was looking for a doula, someone who has a similar like cultural background or shared experience, specifically like as a Black woman in this space, would be really important to me.
Absolutely. Yep. So that's part of my answer. Is one, I definitely wanted the cultural context, and beyond just like being Black, you're also Caribbean, right? You have Caribbean descent. And so for me, I'm like, okay, I think there's some things that are going to be, if not the same, but similar in how we understand how, you know, in-laws work and all that fun stuff. So that was important. Obviously being Black and knowing, you know, mortality rates, was just important. So the advocacy piece for me is important. The other thing was just also just like you said, the gut instinct of like, can I laugh with this person? Which also like with my husband as well, what we're thinking of is like, is this someone who like we would say, oh, hey, come over and chill? That was what we were looking for. And I think like we had that first conversation. I don't even remember what we talked about, to be very honest. But I remember like leaving that conversation going, okay, yeah, no, this can work. This is probably our doula.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually really good feedback because I'm like, I don't know. Like when I say this is like very relational and like I feel like I get more out of this to be honest than people do. Because it's that knowing of you're receiving the help that you want and that you need and that it's tailored to you. And that's really rewarding for me. So it's nice when people, because they're like, the worst thing for me to do or to be asked to do is introduce myself, tell me about, like, I can't tell you. I rely on people to, you know,
feedback,
exactly. And that's how I've gotten most of my referrals. I've gotten referrals from people that I'm like, oh, they know me in some way, or if maybe they know a client that I've worked with in the past. And so they've said really good things about me. And I'm like, who is lying about me on the streets? You know, but no, it's nice to know that like, I'm able to show up as I am. Like really and truly as I am. And that is also well received.
For some people, because like you said, like you're not going to be for everybody. And I think the other thing that I liked is you're not like fluffy and flowery, right? And I'm not either. Like, I just give me the information. Let's make like the decision, like nothing. So it just, it was a good fit.
Yeah. And I think that's like really important to note. Like I'm not, I think part of that is like my cultural upbringing as well, where I'm Jamaican. So very direct, Caribbean's very direct. But also like, I just don't find it to be helpful for most people, especially when I'm getting clients who are people who are reaching out, and especially Black clients I've read the stats and I'm like, okay, so you're like well informed. And so you don't want me to like paint things pretty, and
Yeah.
I don't want to, but I want to paint a realistic picture and work with what it is that your goals are.
Yeah.
And that feels really good to me. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I received it. Listen, let me tell you. In addition to that, okay, I will never forget you stopping by with that oxtail. Y'all don't know. Y'all just you don't get it. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I love oxtail. So this was I was just like, oh my God, we made the right choice. And now I'm just like, okay, Jessica always, okay, Jessica forever.
Shout out to my mom for making that oxtail.
Listen,
I've since then learned how to make it. So
okay, so should we like test run with me?
Sure. If you can fight with my fiance to get the oxtail, sure.
Okay, I don't know about that part. I'm not sure how successful I would be, but sure. Okay. Prior to us, like, obviously having this conversation, we started talking about like the dreams and the goals for the collective. Can you maybe like share one or two, like, big picture? What do you see this going in the next, say, 5-10 years?
Yeah. So we'll do 5 years. The overarching goal is for this to be like a living resource in the community, that will eventually build into a community space that is all things reproductive justice related for Black and racialized families. The 5-year goal for me personally is to be able to hopefully find someone to like take this on, so that I can step back in a more board type role. And I often get asked why. And to be honest, I've worked in nonprofit for a very long time, and I think succession is something that people don't talk about. They start these things, they plan to be there forever.
Yeah.
And that pulse in the community, like eventually you lose it.
Absolutely.
Right? This is current and it's relevant to me. So it's really finding that person or a group of people to kind of continue this work beyond me, and the current doulas as well. So aside from this living resource and community space, is really to start training more doulas as well. Wanting more Black doulas or racialized doulas trained within Ottawa. When I first started, there was one other Black doula that was advertised. I'm sure there were more. And it was kind of like closer to like, I guess towards the end of 2019 that I found her, and she had like shut down her private practice because of COVID. So just really revitalizing that like peer support doula model that mimics communities outside of North America.
Absolutely.
So that people are, again, being served by folks that look like them, that they can relate to. But also like these conversations, early COVID, I had a conversation with someone at Somerset West about like reproductive health and like how we're having these conversations around like with kids in Black communities around reproductive health, and it was just like this like taboo, like we're not having this conversation, or like, oh, you had like sex ed in school, didn't you like get all your answers there. But to be able to like open up that conversation and redefine like reproductive health for the Black community, especially for women, and for young girls that are growing up, like just having those more candid conversations around like things like something as simple as like getting your period, and like what do we do about that, and birth control if you're choosing to do that, or healthy relationships and consent.
Yes.
So that would be like the second like bigger overarching goal for the next 5 years, and then we can reevaluate.
Okay, she gave us 5. I love that. I think I think for me what's so beautiful is and I think this is doula work, right? The community support, right? Like I feel like the doula mimics the support that we're constantly looking for in everyday life.
Yeah.
Right? Whether that's with your friends or your family. And yes, it might be in a more distant kind of way, as compared to family and friends, but it's so necessary. And the communities are so, I was having a conversation about how it feels insular. Like things feel so insular now.
They do.
Everyone is in like their own silos. And I'm like, guys,
yeah,
we're not going to thrive this way.
No. And I think about that all the time. Like, we both live in the same suburb, and I sort of know my neighbors.
Yeah.
Sort of. My one neighbor's wife had a baby in November, and that's kind of how I started talking to her, because I was like, oh, you're pregnant. Hey, I'm a doula. If you have any questions or need some tools or resources, let me know. But yeah, but I also feel like we're a generation of people who we have all the information, we were lied to and told we've got this, and it's like, we don't.
No, we don't.
And we shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
And you don't, I find the people that feel it the most are that people that don't have family close by.
Absolutely.
Like my family lives really close by, so I know that I have that support. But I can only imagine what it would be like if I was farther away from them, and whether it's a plane ride or like even a 4-hour drive, it's still, it's can't. Far. Yeah. Like you can't just be like, I need sugar. Can you drop off sugar? And they'll be there in 20 minutes, you know?
Yeah. So true.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for being on here.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to like have this conversation out there, but I also wanted to have it in a way where you still need to reach out to Jessica.
Fair, thank you. I appreciate it.
So like, just wet your taste buds a little bit, and then like for more questions, how can people find you?
Yeah,
reach out to you.
So I think the best way to find me right now would just be going to either our Instagram page, which is Rooted Birthwork, birthwork being one word, .co. Or you can go to our website. It's www.rootedbirthwork.ca. I'm sure it will be linked hopefully somewhere.
Yeah, it'll be on the screen. You'll see it.
But there's a contact form that you can reach out to, and it goes to our general email. So anyone from the team will get in contact with you. If you're looking to speak specifically with me, you can just put that in the subject line and I'll reach out. But those are the best ways. And on our website, there is a phone number that you guys can contact as well that will ring through to all of us. So, yeah, pretty accessible.
That's awesome. Well, guys, don't say I didn't do anything for you. Listen, Jessica's awesome. Like, thanks. Honestly, like there are parts of my birthing journey that I was just like, okay, right. But then like postpartum, I really, really felt your impact, and I'm super, super thankful that you're a part of the community of people, because the ghetto. We'll leave it there. But yeah, check Jessica out, and I'll see you guys in another video. Okay, bye.
Bye.